Spoke with Carlos's mom and sister earlier today, and as you can imagine, this is devastating for them. And it's amazing to see how they kind of disappear in and out of the fog, and you can only see the little bit of glare of headlights when cars pass by. I'm told by residents that this was once all green. Now these brown spots were where repairs were done on Friday to try to prevent this canal from overflowing. This is huge. I'm told at least 300 new recruits will be trained here each year up to CAL FIRE standard. You might have also noticed some dust kicked up by the harvest, but the Valley Air District says that dust is less of a concern than the smoke. The president is imposing tariffs to promote the purchase of American-made goods by making foreign products more expensive. Economists say you are going to feel the impact whether buying U.S. or foreign-made goods. Well, those cats still have some recovering to do. There are still plenty of other adoptable pets here at the shelter, like little Sprout here. He's got sweet little socks. You can see that mangled bus stop and car behind me. They show some of the chaos that went on here earlier today. If you take a close look at that car back there, you can see all of the airbags deployed. There's some shattered glass and, of course, that metal from the bus stop there on the ground. This is where police say they were able to rescue a pregnant woman who was kidnapped by her ex. From here, the suspect ran into the backyard of a nearby home where he hid until he was arrested less than an hour ago. Now, I want to walk you back how we got here. Fresno police say just after 8 a.m., the suspect, who hasn't been identified yet, smashed in windows at a residence in Northeast. That's where he kidnapped the victim, and she was hurt after she walked through that broken glass. Someone, we don't know who, was able to call 911. Then police were able to track the victim's phone, and they chased the suspect here, where he ran into the bus stop and hit two people who have minor injuries. From here is where they say he ran into a nearby yard.
It was found inside a detached garage, hiding underneath a blanket. Officers went in to the location, tried to take him into custody, and the subject fought with the canine. There was a canine application that was supplied to the suspect. Thankfully, he was taken into custody without any further incident.
So that application means that the dog bit the suspect. There were several warnings that would happen if the suspect didn't surrender and the dog needed to be used. Now, the victim and suspects were all taken to the hospital to be treated. The victims and suspect were all taken to the hospital to be treated for their injuries. The suspect will be booked into jail on several charges, including domestic violence, kidnapping, and evading police. The courtroom was standing room only earlier. We spoke with former employee Jen Guerra, who says she had to squeeze into the back with other former Bitwise employees as they waited for the sentence to be handed down. She says she was filled with mixed emotions as she learned the co-founders of Bitwise would be spending years in prison.
A lot of people in the courtroom were crying and stuff, and it was just like an emotional, cathartic experience, I think.
More than a year and a half after Bitwise abruptly shut down, the co-founders, Jake Soberall and Irma Olguin Jr., were sentenced to prison, a step toward healing for some former employees. In May 2023, hundreds of employees' paychecks bounced, their health insurance stopped, and many faced extreme financial hardship, some still feeling the impacts financially and emotionally. Then earlier this year, the two pleaded guilty to 2 counts of wire fraud. Cameras were not allowed in the federal courtroom Tuesday, but former employee Jen Guerra was there to witness the sentencing.
A lot of mixed feelings. Of course, there was actually a feeling of relief or of justice, but there was a feeling of like seeing them as humans and feeling like, that's really a waste. How sad. Like this could have been so different. You know what I mean?
11 years for Soberall and 9 for Olguin. The judge said Soberall faces a longer sentence because he was an attorney and should have known better. In court, Olguin spoke to those impacted, saying, quote, "This was not a mistake or crime of opportunity. This was a deliberate effort to mislead." What did you feel when you heard that?
It's like, wow. I mean, that was like brutal honesty. In a way, I was relieved that she was so honest, and in a way it was like, God, that's really scary.
Does it hurt that it was intentional?
Yes. Of course, yeah.
Soberall and Olguin will need to pay back nearly $150 million in restitution.
That's probably unlikely that either one of them are able to pay that, but that's going to hound them for the rest of their lives.
Attorney Roger Benakdar represents many former Bitwise employees in the class action lawsuit against the pair, which settled at $20 million earlier this year. Guerra says hopefully both the settlement and sentence can help start the healing.
You know, I'm sure there's a lot more we don't know about, but for the most part, yes, I feel peace. I feel that, you know, I can move on with my life. I mean, I have already moved on with my life, but with a sense of like their justice has been served in a form.
We did have a crew out here earlier to try to question the co-founders after court, but we were told by federal security they had been escorted by U.S. Marshals through another exit to avoid the media. Though they have been sentenced, Sobral and Olguin do have several months before they need to report to prison on March 18th. Yeah, Margot, Warren, this was Christine Quintero in her hospital bed when I first talked to her back in May as she got that infusion. And I have good news. Christine, see that there? She got to ring the bell today because her scans came back clean. There's no cancer. We had an exclusive conversation with her about how she's feeling and her hopes moving forward. A Clovis woman is making history in Central California and moving forward.
I'm really looking forward to that, to having my life back.
We first met Christine Quintero in late May as she sat in a hospital bed, waiting to receive a potential cure for her large B-cell lymphoma. We had a front row seat as she was the first patient to receive a life-changing immunotherapy at the Community Cancer Institute at Clovis Community. As we met up again more than a month later, she walked in with new energy and a major update.
I'm here now with, you know, being cancer-free and in remission. I'm feeling a lot better, like I'm getting my strength back. Of course, you know, I'm still not 100% with my body, and I don't know how long it's going to take, you know, but I'm able to get up, I'm able to do chores again, you know, I'm able to do a lot more than I was before.
For more than a year and a half, Christine battled her cancer using chemo and radiation. Then came CAR T-cell therapy, an infusion of Christine's own white blood cells altered to better fight the cancer cells. Previously, people had to seek out hospitals in other cities for CAR T and stay away from home for at least 30 days. But Christine remained in her hometown and was actually discharged early, giving her the chance to celebrate milestones with family.
I was supposed to stay in there 15 days, but I ended up coming out on the 4th. It was my daughter's birthday. I wanted to be home with her.
Because of her willingness to go first, the hard work of her care team, and the success, future patients will get to do the same.
I literally cannot describe how excited I am for our patients. I think what we are doing as a team here is huge. It literally takes a village to build a CAR T program. And we were able to do it, and this is just the start.
Christine will need follow-up blood work and scans over the next year. But for now, it's the things we often take for granted she's looking forward to the most.
And I'm looking forward to going back to work on August 1st. Yeah, I'm going back to work. It takes a lot, you know, not to have a life of working and, you know, and being a cancer patient, it's depressing sometimes, you know. But, you know, through my friends and my family and praying all the time, I was able to do it.
The bell, ringing a welcome to her next chapter. You know, it was incredible seeing her back at the end of May while she was waiting for the infusion. She's sitting in the hospital bed, and when she walked into the room today, I almost didn't recognize her, not just because, like, physically, but because of her energy. She has so much more energy, and she's a lot more vibrant than she was, you know, a month and a half ago. It's incredible, the change. And when we talked back in May, she said when she first realized she was getting sick, she was at Disneyland with her family. This is back in late 2023, and she was exhausted from the trip. And then once she got her scans back, her daughter said, "Mom, I want to go back to Disneyland. I want to take you to Disneyland." So she said, "Give me some time.
Yeah.
I want to, you know, heal a little bit more, get my energy back," but she wants to go back to Disneyland.
Yeah. Well, this is the happiest place on earth for her right now.
It really is. And happy news for more patients here in the Valley. I talked to the doctor, and she said today she met with another patient to talk about CAR T-cell therapy. Isn't that incredible?
Christine's the trailblazer there for all those new patients.
She really is. It's absolutely incredible meeting the team, meeting Christine. It's just, it's great news.